Have you ever wanted to know more about the life of the legendary Yul Brynner, the man behind the iconic roles he played in Hollywood? The silver screen is just the beginning of a rich tapestry of captivating stories and astounding realities. Envision yourself as a little child, sheltering from the Siberian winter under the guidance of a free-spirited gypsy mother on Sakhalin Island. But hold on a second. Victoria, his daughter, has just recently revealed more profound mysteries. Before he became an actor, did you know he did trapeze? Or that he fought fierce rivals while filming? From his multi-ethnic childhood to his remarkable resiliency and hidden relationships, Yul Brynner's life is about to be unveiled. If you want to know the secrets of this mysterious star, you'll have to stay tuned. An unforgettable life story that goes beyond the movies will captivate you with its unseen adventures and incredible resiliency, exposing a heritage that has inspired and will continue to inspire many. Shall we jump right in? Envision yourself becoming an individual shaped by a tapestry of cultures and experiences that began in your childhood. Yul Brynner, whose name is practically a synonym for mystery and power, lived through this. Yul Brynner had a remarkable upbringing despite being born on July 11, 1920, in Vladivostok, Russia. He spent considerable time in locations like Paris and Beijing during his childhood, which exposed him to a diverse array of cultures. Boris Brynner was a mining engineer and the father of Yul. He was of Buryat and Mongolian heritage. Marusha Blagovodova, his mother, introduced Swiss-German ancestry to the family tree. Brynner benefited from a cosmopolitan outlook at a young age thanks to her diverse family history. Imagine a young Yul immersed in the Eastern traditions of a thriving Beijing. In his formative years, he was immersed in the rich aromas, sights, and sounds of Chinese culture. This is where his profound respect for the variety of human experience first took root. Paris, where the Brynner family eventually settled, was an influential factor in developing Yul's creative interests. He became enamored with the performing arts, met intellectuals, and encountered the avant-garde art scene in the City of Light. He was an eye-catcher everywhere he went because to his striking good looks and command of numerous languages. Even yet, there were challenging times. After a terrible accident, Yul gave up on her goal of becoming a trapeze artist. Despite this, the failure served as a catalyst for change. He found a new home in French theater and, resolute in his desire to remain in the performing arts, shifted his focus to acting. The foundation for his future success was laid swiftly by his talent and magnetism. In 1941, Yul took a significant step toward a better future by migrating to the United States. He embarked on an extraordinary adventure in the entertainment world with this move. He quickly became a favorite among Broadway theatergoers thanks to his charisma, stage presence, and unusual background. With his dominating presence and ease of role hopping, Brynner garnered critical praise in no time. His capacity to bring each character to life was lauded by critics for the passion and sincerity of his performances. He clearly loved what he did, as he dove headfirst into the New York theater scene to learn new pieces and perfect his art. His versatility as an actor was on full display in plays such as Lute Song and The King and the First, which also suggested that he would find success in cinema. Incorporating a sophisticated grasp of cultural subtleties and human emotions into his portrayals, Brynner's global upbringing and distinctive background informed his approach to acting. Brynner stood out throughout his career for drawing from a wide range of cultural backgrounds. His performances were rich with nuance and realism, whether he was portraying a king of China, a Russian nobility, or a Western gunslinger. His multi-ethnic childhood was more than a footnote in his life story. It laid the groundwork for his extraordinary skill and lasting impact. A true story of variety and perseverance, Yul Brynner's rise from Vladivostok to Hollywood is an inspiration. The many cultures and experiences that have impacted his life have created an intriguing tapestry of unexpected twists and turns. Join us as we explore the life of this iconic actor further and reveal more fascinating facts that impacted his extraordinary path. When Yul Brynner first arrived in New York City in the early 1940s, he was smack dab in the middle of the American theater scene. The city's kinetic, creative energy provided the ideal setting for Brynner's emerging creativity. His diverse background and life experiences set him apart from others and gave him the chance to make a big splash on Broadway. Making her stage debut in 1946's lute song, Yul finally broke through. A turning point in Brynner's career, this production gave him the chance to perform for an expanded audience. Everyone from critics to theatergoers was captivated by his spellbinding performance. His next part, nevertheless, was the one that would propel him to superstardom. In 1951, Brynner landed the role that would shape his career, the part of King Siam in The King and the First, a musical by Rodgers and Hammerstein. The show was a huge project since it combined Eastern and Western cultural aspects in a narrative about power, tradition, and transformation. With an impressive blend of vulnerability, charisma, and authority, Brynner brought a revolutionary performance to the stage as the king. His distinctive shaven head, an audacious and unorthodox style decision back then, became synonymous with the character and contributed to his intimidating aura. The King and the First became an enormous success as his performance enchanted spectators night after night. The Tony Award for Best Actor in a Musical, which Brynner won for his energetic performance, solidified his place in Broadway history. The King and the First was a huge hit, and it opened many avenues for Brynner. Because of his charisma and adaptability, he was in high demand as an actor in both film and theater. For a long time after the 1956 film adaptation, he returned to the stage on many occasions, continuing to play the King of Siam. The picture was so successful that it received 9 Oscar nominations and went on to win 5. Critical praise was once again showered upon Brynner's performance. Moreover, he was named Best Actor at the Academy Awards. This two-pronged success cemented his position as an icon of the entertainment industry. Although her breakout appearance in The King and the First was a watershed moment in her career, Brynner's success on Broadway was really only the beginning. He landed a slew of varied and noteworthy parts because to his talent for giving characters nuance and reality. The unique combination of intensity and grace that Brynner brought to every role he played was on full display in his performances as Pharaoh in The Ten Commandments and a cowboy in The Magnificent Seven. Brynner achieved more than simply personal achievement with her Broadway show. The significance of accepting one's individuality and the power of persistence were both demonstrated. From the multi-ethnic streets of Paris to the glitter of Broadway, his narrative is one of perseverance, brilliance, and dogged pursuit of greatness. A watershed point in Yul Brynner's career, his debut on Broadway altered his trajectory and forever altered the theater industry. One evidence of his greatness and lasting impact is the ease with which he could strike up conversations with people of all backgrounds and beliefs. As a result of his unprecedented success on Broadway, Yul Brynner's move to Hollywood was bound to be spectacular. The 1950s were a golden age for Hollywood stars, and Brynner was about to have her moment in the spotlight. While starring as Ramesses II and Cecil B. DeMille's 1956 blockbuster The Ten Commandments, Brynner cemented his place in cinematic history. As a monumental retelling of the biblical story, this picture demanded an extraordinarily commanding performance. Brynner accomplished this by giving the Pharaoh a complex personality that revealed both his haughtiness and his weakness. His iconic performance catapulted him to stardom despite the film's outstanding ensemble. His captivating on-screen presence captivated both critics and spectators. In a time when grandiose figures were the norm, he stood out with his strong voice, intense stare, and unique look. At the box office, The Ten Commandments crushed it, adding to Brynner's already impressive resume of leading men in Hollywood. Brynner went on to demonstrate his flexibility in a number of roles after this success. The dramatic 1956 film Anastasia, which retold the story of the Russian Grand Duchess, featured him with Ingrid Bergman. He received praise for his portrayal as General Bunin, a multi-layered figure who deals with betrayal and love, while also showcasing his versatility as an actor. His 1958 performance in the film The Brothers Karamazov, based on the work of Fyodor Dostoevsky, was also noteworthy. Brynner demonstrated his talent for delving into complicated and emotionally charged characters with his portrayal of Dmitry Karamazov, a man caught between duty and passion. The film's profundity was enhanced by his impassioned performance. earning him kudos and establishing his credibility as an actor of note. His 1960 portrayal in The Magnificent Seven, however, may have been his most iconic. Brynner played the role of Chris Adams, the hired gunman assigned to defend a Mexican community in this western that drew inspiration from Seven Samurai by Akira Kurosawa. A career-defining performance, his portrayal of the resolute and courageous commander struck a chord with viewers. Not only did The Magnificent Seven become a genre classic, but it also solidified Brynner's reputation as an actor who can do it all. Brynner, with his involvement in Westworld in the 1970s, enthusiastically embraced the new science fiction genre. Brynner embodied the unforgettable gunslinger and robot in a dystopian theme park with a spine-tingling intensity. A new chapter in his career opened up as he portrayed the cold, relentless persona and made an indelible mark on the field. The success of Westworld, which became a cult classic, was heavily influenced by Brynner's performance. There are a plethora of plaudits and prizes that Brynner received for his work in films. Whether it was his Academy Award for The King and the First or any of his other nominations or triumphs, Brynner's ability was widely acknowledged and lauded. Brynner had a reputation behind the scenes for being exceedingly committed to his work and convincing in every part he played. He stands out in the market thanks to his thorough character research, meticulous planning, and meticulous attention to detail. He was dedicated to delivering stories that touched people deeply. He wasn't only an actor, he was an artist. Yul Brynner's personal life was just as interesting and complicated as his professional one, which was full of outstanding accomplishments and legendary performances. The man with the stern on-screen image and the glittering Hollywood smile had a complicated and full life outside of the spotlight. In 1944, actress Virginia Gilmore became Yul Brynner's first wife. Yul Brynner, the couple's son, went on to have a successful literary and historical career. Despite their beautiful public personas, their marriage was fraught with difficulties, such as Brynner's rising job demands and their respective struggles with internal demons. They stayed in touch via their kid even after their 1960 divorce. Being a father was a key part of Brynner's life. All told, he had a brood of 5 from his many relationships and marriages. Whether on or off film, his children frequently characterized him as a gigantic presence. Despite his busy work schedule, Brynner made an effort to be there for his children, giving them a stable home life and lots of affection. The Chilean model and photographer Doris Kleiner was Brynner's spouse in 1960. His unstable personal life was somewhat calmed by this marriage. Their daughter, Victoria Brynner, would later become a major player in the world of high fashion. The bond between Doris and Yul was one of profound love and mutual regard. And they frequently worked together artistically. Doris's camera caught many private moments in Brynner's life. The humanitarian work that Brynner did also had a profound impact on his private life. He was profoundly impacted by the suffering of war-affected children in Vietnam in the 1970s, and he and his fourth wife, Jacqueline Theon de la Chaume, adopted 2 girls, Melody and Mia. This selfless deed demonstrated Brynner's profound empathy and feeling of duty to those in need. He gave his adoptive children his undivided attention, love, and protection. His fourth wife, Jacqueline de la Chaume, whom he wed in 1971, was an important figure in his latter years. They battled his deteriorating health and the stresses of fame together, all while trying to provide for their family. Their commitment to one another and their shared beliefs shone through in their troubled marriage. Introspection and a search for purpose characterized Brynner's private life, apart from his familial and charitable endeavors. He frequently took time apart from the world to think about his life and the impact he had on others through his writing. Letters and diaries show a man preoccupied with existential and philosophical concerns, trying to figure out who he was and what he wanted to leave behind in the world. A difficult fight with lung cancer befell Brynner in his last years. Brynner was diagnosed with the condition in 1983 after smoking heavily for the majority of his life. His battle with cancer was a public and private one. In his last months, he spoke out against smoking in the hopes that it would save others from their own demise. Brynner left behind a message of awareness and prevention by urging people to quit smoking in a moving and compelling recording he made before he passed away. After her death on October 10, 1985, Yul Brynner left behind a complicated and rich legacy. His personal journey through love, sorrow, joy, and pain demonstrated his strength and empathy. Everyone who knew him remembers him for more than his star power. They remember him as a loving father, husband, and friend, a man who lived each day to the fullest. In addition to her love of the spotlight, Yul Brynner had a profound interest in photography. He developed a passion for photography at a young age and has continued to do so throughout his life. Taking photographs allowed Brynner to see the world through a new perspective. He recorded candid family moments as well as glances into his film sets. Brynner demonstrates his attention to detail and talent for freezing moments in his photography. He captured genuine moments with his fellow actors, beautiful landscapes, and local life from throughout the world, among many other things. The narrative quality of Brynner's photographs is a reflection of her singular point of view and creative sensibilities. His skill as a cinematographer was widely acknowledged. Brynner became well known as a talented photographer after having his work featured in numerous books and shown in prominent galleries. A moving photo essay book he co-authored with legendary photographer Inge Morath, Bring Forth the Children: A Journey to the Forgotten People of Europe and the Middle East, is among his most famous works. In this piece, Brynner brought together his creative vision and his humanitarian concerns to shed awareness on the suffering of displaced children in post-war Europe and the Middle East. Among Brynner's many interests in the realm of ideas was photography. He sought to further his knowledge and comprehension of the world through reading extensively and continuing his education throughout his life. His personal collection was vast, with volumes on literature, philosophy, history, science, and more. In his frequent, in-depth discussions and disputes with friends, co-workers, and academics, Brynner satisfied his ravenous hunger for information. One more way that Brynner could release his thoughts and ideas was through writing. Throughout his life, he recorded his ideas, feelings, and observations in extensive diaries. His works show a guy who was profoundly reflective and who was often asking himself important questions, giving us a fascinating glimpse into his inner life. The notebooks that Brynner kept are more evidence of his commitment to bettering himself in his dogged quest for knowledge. Philosophy and existentialism were also areas of intellectual interest for Brynner. Existentialists like Jean-Paul Sartre and Albert Camus had a significant impact on him, and he frequently reflected on the meaning of life, his role in it, and the human predicament as a whole. Brynner became rather animated when discussing his philosophical opinions in interviews, painting a picture of his reflective character and his yearning to comprehend the profound mysteries of life. A big part of Brynner's life was music as well. Being a skilled guitarist, he frequently sought comfort in sharing his emotions via music. Playing music, whether it was Russian gypsy melodies or just strumming his guitar in his spare time, brought him joy and helped him connect with his roots. Brynner's musical abilities were more proof of his adaptability as an artist and his admiration for the creative processes. Through his artistic and intellectual interests, Brynner met many different types of intellectuals, artists, and innovators. He frequently attended events, conversations, and meetings where ideas were shared and creativity thrived, making himself a fixture in intellectual and cultural circles. As well as to his complex character. Towards the end of his stellar career, Yul Brynner started to think about his impact beyond the entertainment industry and his legacy. The ardent lobbying effort that Brynner began in his final years would define his reputation just as much as his great cinematic appearances. A highly personal struggle with smoking-related sickness was revealed by Yul Brynner in 1985, when she made a moving revelation to the world. Brynner fearlessly spoke to the camera in a PSA that aired after his death, displaying an honesty seldom seen in celebrities of his ilk. Even though it was brief, his message had impact. "I warn you not to smoke now that I'm out of here. Avoid smoking at all costs." Brynner began her anti-smoking advocacy with this groundbreaking PSA, something he was completely committed to up until the day he died. Brynner utilized his fame to speak out against smoking and support public health programs that try to lower tobacco use, even though he had lung cancer himself. The influence of Brynner went much beyond the entertainment industry. Many governments and health organizations throughout the world recognized and applauded his advocacy efforts. As a vocal opponent of tobacco usage and its catastrophic impacts on people and communities, he rose to prominence as a spokeswoman for anti-smoking initiatives. On top of getting the word out, Brynner was a vocal advocate for stricter laws and policies aimed at reducing tobacco use. In an effort to promote tobacco-free measures and programs to help people quit smoking, he testified before legislative committees, visited with lawmakers, and worked with public health professionals. As a result of his efforts, public opinion on smoking changed, and tobacco control laws around the world were shaped in his image. Speeches and personal letters from Brynner added weight to his dedication to the cause. As an emotional reminder of the human cost of smoking, he spoke about his personal battles with addiction and disease. Brynner encouraged many others to reevaluate their smoking habits and make health a priority through his honest insights and sincere pleas. The anti-smoking campaigns and educational programs that Yul Brynner started are still continuing strong today, spreading his message of health and prevention. His activism is a potent example of the change that may occur when famous people use their influence for the greater good, having an impact beyond their on-screen personas to bring about real-world transformations. Leave a remark below sharing your ideas and experiences that have been influenced by Yul Brynner's lobbying work. For more inspiring and impactful stories from Hollywood and beyond, like, subscribe, and turn on notifications.